Hello everyone and welcome to another Outlaws of Thunder Junction draft with an easy first pick. This time Rakdos the Muscle is a very strong mythic rare. So that's gonna be the pick here. Other good options here are Shoot the Sheriff, Trained Arings. Abrupt DK is good, but it is 2 colors. It is splashable and splashing is easy, especially if you are green, so it would be a fine card. The Bandit is okay too, but and I also like the Thrash the Town, but it's not a very high priority from this pack. If the rare was something, well, if this rare was something worse, I wouldn't still be taking Thrash the Town over many of the other cards. Yeah, let's take the Rakdos now. And okay, there is a Terminal Agony, and you can actually combine this with discard outlets. There are 2 commons at least that work with this thing. Could be some other cards too, but the red has 2 commons that make you discard a card to draw more cards, and it's great to discard a Madness card, of course. So I could take that, or I could just take the Consuming Ashes, which is better card than Terminal Agony when you can't synergize with it. Prickly Pear is totally fine. Beastmood Outcaster is good, and this is fine card too. But I try to be just black red if I can. This can come back to me though. It can come back to me, so I think I will take the Consuming Ashes in here, and then I will pick up another 4-mana removal spell if I can when it comes potentially back. Right. I don't see a reason to change my colors yet. I mean, you could just take a Giant Beaver. Festering Gulch might even be the better option if you would take a kind of a green card in here. The Lawbringer is nice, but not really a card I'm willing to splash. The Return to Favor is, especially as a sideboard card, it can, do some good work. But I might just take the Wolverine here. So it's an acceptable 3-drop. Not the greatest pack 1 pick 3, but this is not a very strong pack. So let's take this one. There's an Imp's Mischief. Alright. Well, this is another card that can work quite nicely. You can get the Tempo horrific 2 for 1 with this thing. But sometimes it doesn't do anything. So I'm not sure how to do this. I could just take a green card here, Cactarantula or the Entertainer. But I do have the Rakdos, the Muscle. I could be like black-green splashing for Rakdos. Totally, doable. I just passed the black-green desert though. Yeah, the Mischief can be a bit of a unreliable card. I think I'll take the green 2-drop and see how it goes. Alright, well, and immediately I'm getting a Scalestorm Summoner here. And a 2-drop from black. Well, the Summoner can be really nice. You just need some of those mercenary tokens that can pump power to make even this thing into a 4-power one. And you can have some other 4-power creatures. Yeah, I'll take this. And then, alright, no green, unsurprisingly. So I'm gonna cut the green, and I basically lost just the Imp's Mischief, which I don't think it's such a big deal. Now, what's the pick here? Do I want to have the desert here if I have some crime committing payoffs? Caught in the crossfire for sideboard. These 4 and 5 drops are nothing amazing. I'm not going to worry about those. I can get cards like these later on in the draft. I think the desert is the highest payoff. Also allows some white splashes if I'm given some options for that. Alright, well, I think I will take the advantage now. This is not a desert. This won't be committing any crimes for me, but making a white splash or maybe just moving to red-white or something like that is an option, and this helps there. I don't think I'm gonna miss that second Wolverine that much, so I'm gonna take this. And okay, well, there is a decent white card, the Prosperity Tycoon. I'm not sure if I'm gonna really splash for it, but I still don't really care about the Desecrator that much. I'm taking this, and I have options for red-white perhaps. Oh, well, there are two good white 2-drops. I might actually abandon the Rakdos here. We'll see if the next pack gives me a Terminal Agony. I think that was the pack when it can come back to me. Anyway, I like the Arynx slightly more than the Vigilante, so let's take this one. And I got the Agony here, so I think I'm gonna still pick it over the Wanted Griffin. This is also one of the cards that I don't really consider such a high priority. I can now be red-white, red-black, or maybe even 3 colors. And I got the Return the Favor here, which I like as a sideboard card. Now this is not the worst card to play in black-red or black-white. I mean red-white, but I think I still take this sideboard card. And okay, I can take the... Do I care about the Conviction more than the Supplier? I haven't really been that excited about the Supplier. I think I'll take this rather than the 5-drop. Okay, well, there's a Townsfolk, which is playable. Okay, there's an Akul here. Well, I wish these lands were, red and black, producing lands. Yeah. I think I am gonna take the 5/5 Trampler Flyer. It can be a bit hard to cast it, but it is pretty pretty great when you can have it like on turn 5 or turn 6. You don't have to be able to cast it on turn 4 to make it worth playing. I'm picking it, and I'm not picking the stuff in here. I think I do have a playset of these Abolishers. Yes, I do. There's removal, white removal. This is not as good in limited than constructed, but it's still okay. The highway robbery is one of the things I can combine with the Terminal Agony. But now I'm going to try to be just straight up black-red in here, thanks to these 2 rares. I need some cheap cards though, but in the meanwhile I have a Vault Plunderer versus Mirage Mesa. This would be quite important. It's not nearly as good as the Desert that can tap always for black and red, but this is still better than a basic land in a deck that has like a this kind of a mana cost. So the Mirage Mesa is quite high priority, but then again the Vault Plunderer is a in my opinion quite a good quality 3-drop. So I'm taking that now, and probably I can start abandoning the white cards in here. I'm gonna put the lands also to the sideboard. I remember I have 2 splash enablers for white if I'm getting something crazy, but here I think I'm taking the Discerning Peddler over the Raven of Fell Omens, because this Peddler is the other red common that does very nice, synergizes with the Terminal Agony very nicely. So I'm taking it here now. And another Scale Storm Summoner, also a Discerning Peddler. Number 2 is an option. In this kind of a deck I might even consider it the Oasis Gardener, especially if I don't get more mana fixing, because it helps with the double casters, or this is like a double caster. But here the decision is between the Summoner and the Peddler. I don't have that many triggers for this guy yet, but I should be getting, when you play red and black, you will get those mercenaries that can pump these. Yeah, I'm taking the better card. Rakdos joins up, so there's also something I could be splashing with the lands I have, but I'm not taking that. I think here I will take a Rakdos joins up, because it's also quite nice with the discard things. You can discard a creature that then you can bring back if you don't have like a... Well, maybe not. That's not so great when my creatures are pretty cheap, but it's still the card I'm actually picking here over the Explosive Derailment, I think. Yeah. The 2 additional +1/+1 counters make this much better than some other cards, that do the same thing. Return a creature from the graveyard. Alright, this pack suddenly, I got this kind of a pack. I'm have to take the Wild Smasher because I need 2-drops, but then at knife point is very nice, and also I wouldn't mind having the Raven of Fell Omens. But yeah, I'm taking the Wild Smasher, and I'm sad about passing this thing. Also, this thing is legendary, so this would be a 5/4 if you can bring it back with the Rakdos, the muscle. Alright, there's a Duelist and there's a Eartha Joe, which I could be splashing, maybe. Duelist is fine, but doesn't actually... I don't have that many payoffs for committing crimes. I'm taking the Eartha Joe right now. I don't like the Buzzard, by the way, much at all, so I'm not considering it a very high priority. Here at knife point versus a desperate Bloodseeker, I would actually like to have a Bloodseeker in here, but I'm gonna take now an at knife point. I guess I don't have that many ways to commit crimes. I will be playing the upgraded bluffs, of course, regardless. It's a red producing land that triggers, makes a crime for me. Alright, there's a 40 gems, which I won't be picking here. Write down is okay when you are potentially splashing for white, but I can still ignore the white if pack 3 is really good for black and red. I'm taking the highway robbery to also combine with the, where is it, terminal agony here. I'm taking the bristling backwoods with the at knife point. You want to have, means to commit crime, so that's an easy pick. And here I'm not playing blue here. I have a couple of 5-drops, but I think I can still consider this, as a sideboard card or something. Alright. More 5-drops that are kinda unnecessary. Okay, so form a posse. I think I'm gonna consider that. I might go for the white splash. Claim jumper. Okay, consuming ashes. Bloodseeker is nice because it also commits a crime for the at knife point, and I need a 2-drop. But there's also just, the exiling removal spell, which I quite like. Yeah, I do need some 2-drops. This is difficult. But there are so many bombs in this format, you really want to have ways to remove creatures. I think I will take the removal now and hope that I will get some 2-drops here still. Well, there is a 2-drop. But there's a lot of cards in here. I'm happy to play. The Lively Dirge, for instance, is quite decent. It can just straight up go and fetch me the Akul from my deck, put it in the graveyard, and then return it, for instance. This is a card I would be playing in this deck, but am I gonna try to hope to get it back at pick 10? Because I could take a Derailment, Desert's Due, Prickly Pear, another crime-committing land, but I don't think I'm taking that now. Desert's Due could work. Derailment. I think I'm taking a Derailment right now. And what do I say here? A double Spinewoods Armadillo. Pretty decent, but anyway, I have an easy pick in Jagged Barrens over the Discerning Peddler here. I want to fix my mana for these hard mana costs, and this still commits a crime. I suppose there's only like one payoff for committing crimes. If I'm not mistaken, the at knife point is the only one for now, but it's still gonna be just an important land here that can help me cast my, spells. Okay. Discerning Peddler again versus a Link Breaker. The Link Breaker wouldn't be the worst because I actually do care about these mercenaries when I have a double summoner here. I don't have that many naturally, higher power creatures than 3. But I'm taking the Peddler, and that makes me quite likely to actually do some good things with the Terminal Agony. There's a Heartless Pillage, Skullduggery, there's a Silver Deputy, which I don't actually think is that bad of a card right now. I could play the Pillage and the Skullduggery to have a playset of these already. But this fixes my mana. I'm not sure about the White Splash. I might not go for that route. But this also is gonna, pump my summoners here, which is pretty decent. So I'm taking the Deputy now. Okay, there's a Conduit Pylons. Now, it's not the best thing to fix mana for your double casters because it effectively makes them cost 1 more. But I guess it's not so bad to have the Akul as a 5-drop and maybe even the Rakdos if I don't have double black at 5 lands, this would make it a 6-drop kind of. I'm taking the conduit pylons. I might still do the white splash also. Here I think I'm not taking another Form a Posse. I'll just take the cheap removal. It also kind of serves as a 2-drop. And what do I have here? Another at knife point. Well, I guess I can pick it. Write down. I honestly don't know if I'm playing the white or not. Do I want to play another silver deputy? I think I maybe can. Not necessarily a third one. Trick shot for sideboard. I think I can take the expensive removal for sideboard use. And here, nothing for me. I'll take the boombox if I really need to have another removal spell. Okay, I got the link breaker. There's also crime committing land, but this makes my mana worse color-wise. If I'm gonna sideboard in a return to favor, I think I will have only one of those. So let's take the link breaker there and see how to build the deck then. Alright, cut the lands for now. And then this is 28. I won't be playing main color. I mean, white as my main color. So if I'm going to splash for it, it would be the Earth Joe and the Form a Posse. I think I don't need to go for that though. If I cut them, I still have 26 cards in here. I will not main deck the boombox. I think I won't be main decking the trick shot either. And I'm not gonna play both of these 5-drops. I think I'm gonna cut the muzzle. This can target an opponent, which can matter for the at knife points. And this is 24 cards. I will play the peddlers and the robberies to try to make the terminal agony do some work for me. How many ways to commit crimes do I have? 1. This is a kind of a 3-drop. Sometimes a 5 mana card, but usually 3. So let's see. 1. Am I gonna main deck this thing? It's not impossible because it does copy also abilities or redirects abilities when you don't have a spell to copy. And of course I can copy my own spells. If I cast this at 3, if I have a 6 mana total, I can still copy it. Well, let's see. I wanted to first check the number of crime committing. Now this will commit a crime this will sometimes commit a crime, of course, when I target their stuff. Then this visits one way to commit a crime. Agony, consuming ashes. There are not that many ways to commit a crime, but I have 1, 2, 3 deserts that ping them. I mean, so I will have some triggers for that knife point. Also, my mercenaries. Outlaws, which includes mercenaries, but some other creature types too, will have first strike on my turn, which is not totally useless. I have 3 warlocks, 4 mercenaries, 4 rogues. So that is actually 11 out of 13 are in fact outlaws in this deck. Alright. Now this is not an outlaw, and I guess the pulverizer is a warrior, right? Only 2 creatures here. See, all the other ones will benefit at least from the first strike part. So the question is now, I have 13 creatures. Am I gonna play all these? I'm thinking about the deputies, I'm thinking about the conviction here. I guess the corrupted conviction is quite nice with double at knife point. It's kind of free to sacrifice these tokens for 2 cards, and I have the link breaker, which is just naturally a good synergy card with it. Yeah, I think I'm playing the corrupted conviction. If I'm playing double silver deputy, I will probably just play, 16 lands, because these can make me draw a land. Alright, I'm gonna play the main deck return the favor. Not the greatest, but let's surprise the opponent by doing some crazy stuff. Because of course, sometimes you can just do this with 4 mana. You will redirect their removal to their own creature, which is already gonna be a 2-for-1. And then you can copy it and remove some other of their creatures. You can get a 3-for-1 with this thing. But it is just not always going to be like that. Sometimes this is in your hand without much use at all. But I'm gonna try it in the main deck now. I think with double deputy I can play the 16 lands and I don't need to cut any cards in that case. Another option would be to play the trick shot in main, but I guess I have a couple of consuming ashes, a terminal agony. I have the derailment here. Then a thunder salvo for small creature removal. I have some removal options in here. So yeah, I think this is it. I have 3 legendary creatures to bring back with the Rakdos joins up because, well, I mean, you don't have to bring a legendary creature back, but the point is that when this is on the battlefield, this enchantment, and you have some legendary creatures that die, the opponent is gonna take a lot of damage. Potentially. Well, mostly because I have 5 and 6 power legendary creatures, and even this guy has at least 3. Alright, so let's do it like this. 16 lands with a couple of deputies. I know I could cut a deputy, but they are gonna get me these crime committing lands for the at knife point. They're gonna fix the mana for my difficult mana costs. And yeah, I think I like, and yeah, one more important thing is that they can pump these Scale Storm Summoners or some other 3-power creatures when this guy is going to attack to get me those free 3-1 dinosaurs. So this is it for the main deck. And I don't need the bandage, it doesn't do anything here. The pylons I can't play. The surveil one is, okay. And basic lands, there's now what, 3 red and 1 black plus the pylons. So let's add a couple of black. How many? Well, I have more red cards, but I still have these black double casters. Actually, I have 4 black double casters in the deck. So I think I should be as close to even as I can. And with the mana I have here, I think it will be 5 more swamps and 5 mountains, and that makes it basically 8 mana base with the pylons and the deputies helping me, so I shouldn't have that much difficulties with the colored mana at all. And let's try to make the Discerning Peddlers or the Highway Robbery do some work with the Terminal Agonies. This is the main deck. Okay, I think I'll keep this. I will need a 3rd land and I might probably have to use the Jagged Barrens before the at knife point is on the battlefield. But I don't think I want to go to 6 with this one. Yeah, I'm just gonna play this on turn 1 immediately. I have a couple of ways to commit crimes anyway if I get the lands to go there. Alright, that can deal with the at knife point, but I'm happy I got the 3rd land so my Vault Plunderer can be played. I think I'll rather play it than the Summoner because this won't even bring me back. Make me get the 3-1 even if it got to attack. The opponent didn't play anything yet. Well, let's try to hit my 4th land drop. That's a good. Okay, well this is great. I can play the at knife point with the bluffs. I really do hope they are trading with the Plunderer using the Warmint. But it's possible they, have a trick to save it, but we'll see. Okay, nothing like that. So now the at knife point will be doing something. They have a 5, no, they have the 4-5. That's fine. I'm going to play this land here regardless, so I'm gonna do this to commit the crime. Get my thing, and of course I could kill this 4-5, but I also have 3 things to really synergize nicely with the Terminal Agony, which means that I don't really want to necessarily be killing this, but they might play, I mean, they can cast this for free, they can play another huge creature from their hand, so I might have to, remove their things. but we'll see how it goes. They plot another one. This is gonna be a 5-5, which is fine. And here I have the 5th land, which means I can play the pulverizer here. Yep, let's do that. That is a warrior, so this won't be having first strike on my turn with that knife point. Okay, they still have 4 cards I don't know about. Could be some lands there too. Of course I have a lot of cards too, but if they have only big creatures, then my own creatures might not, you know, be enough, but we'll see. They are playing white, and of course white has a bunch of small creatures as well. And they had at least 1 land there, so that could be a free attack. I mean, I could double block and trade with the 1/1. That makes me think that they are not going to. They are not going to. You know, this is not a bluff. This is an actual thing that results in them getting a good combat out of this thing. But my Rakdos joins up can bring back the pulverizer, of course, as a 6/7. So they might have a snakeskin whale. They might have the thing that makes things have a lifelink and +1/+1 counter and indestructible. I'm not gonna go for the double block because I think I will just lose both of my guys. Or there's a chance for that. I guess there is not a chance for that if they. Well, no, I'm gonna just do this. I assume it's gonna be like a +1/+1 counter, but it of course can be something else too. Ooh, it was a trusted town, so if I double block, they could not have drawn 2 cards. That is. Yeah, that's a shame. And that's now a huge creature. Alright, so. So yeah, them getting to draw 2 cards in there, that was not great. If I did a double block, I would have lost this and they wouldn't have drawn 2 cards. Which would have been better for me. Okay. I do want to still have a chance to get the synergy piece for the Terminal Agony, so I'm thinking about playing the Summoner. But I want to leave mana up for the Corrupted Conviction as well, and I can't do the Deputy and the Summoner and the Conviction. And this Derailment, it's not doing much here. It definitely is not. I know I can just get this thing back. I think I'm gonna do that. Oh, they're gonna have a Snakeskin Whale too. Well, I mean, that's at least very likely. Which is annoying because this is now basically 8 toughness. But I can block the commando with my pulverizer. I think I have to take the 6/7 because even double block won't help against the Snakeskin Whale. They had a forest untapped and they had priority. There are not that many things that could help their. Oh, are they gonna have more? Well, let's see what happens. I'm gonna just block here and. Do they have a. Okay, Reach for the Sky. These are not the cards I'm expecting. I mean, I'm playing around 3 different tricks. Oh boy. I mean, these tricks are just messing this up totally. Permanent +2/+2 makes my blocks very bad in here. And they still are gonna have a Snakeskin Whale there too. That was just unlucky. I'm just gonna do like this and You have to block and use the conviction there. It's not great at all. I'm gonna go down to 4 here. And this is not able to even attack. So, unless I, draw one of the bomb rares. Well, I don't know if they're actually bomb rares, but one of the cards that has more than 3 power. I would get another jump blocker in the form of a 3/1, but okay, return the favor. This is not great. Let's surveil. See what I have here. It can matter for the, for the Wolverine. That's actually not gonna do much here, so let's not have that around. I simply don't have the means to deal with this situation. Now, I'm gonna concede because it doesn't matter what I do here. These are 2 big things. I have to jump block. I can delay the game ending, but I'm just gonna play stuff that I am gonna use for jump blocking, even if they had no other spells in their hand. There's no good plan for me to, try to kill these things. Because I have to have 2 blockers. I guess I can have like a silver deputy and then, use the derailment. It's not gonna work because they have the snakeskin whale there most likely, and I still lose my board. And yeah, it's just not good. Trick shot is actually gonna be something that I can use to kill those big things. So I suppose I'm gonna play a trick shot. And what is not so good here is like a thunder salvo. Yeah, I'm gonna still play the return the favor. I can redirect their things. Yeah, I think that's it. That's a fine hand. Don't have a turn 2 play, but that might not be the most important thing. I would like to play the at knife point before I'm gonna play the consuming ashes, but I also don't want to. I want to use my removal when they are tapped out as much as possible. But they did mulligan, so let's see how good of a start are they gonna have. This time I'm going to play on turn 3 Summoner, on turn 4 at knife point into Jack Barons. Okay, they do have that thing, but it actually is okay. If they are gonna trade the Varmint with the at knife point, it's okay. I'm going to get my one mercenary here anyway, and that's all I need to make the Summoner work. Of course, I did draw the silver deputy here as well to potentially pump it. So now I know they have a Trash the Town and they have the Flash 3 to... Do they have a Throw from the Saddle as well? They seem to have it. Okay, well, just... Okay, a clear shot. That works too. Not great, but what can you do? I don't want to miss on the land drop. So I think I'm going to go for the at knife point instead of the Vault Plunderer this turn. Yeah. It's also possible I'm going to want to use the Consuming Ashes on the next turn, and then I'd want the at knife point to be on the battlefield for that. Missing a 2-drop means I couldn't trade with the Voracious Vomit, and now I'm taking some damage here even though I was on the play. So this is all that. Yeah, this is what happens when you miss your 2-drops and the opponent doesn't. You are immediately behind. Alright. Well, I think it's pretty easy now. I will just go for this. But they have, of course, this ability up, so they don't necessarily have a Snakeskin Whale here right now. So do I want to have a Corrupted Conviction up or just play a Deputy? I'm not going to get any land with this thing. It would just be a 1-2. So I guess it's better to have a Conviction up here to draw 2 cards if they want to do something nasty. I do hope they don't have a Trash the Town here again. Okay, there's a Griff. That saddle is 1, so they can make it trample if they want to. Okay, so now I'm taking some trample damage now, which is annoying. I think I'm going to maybe just block the Varmint. I'm taking the same amount of damage here thanks to them all trampling right now. Well, actually, let's do this so that they won't have trample on the next turn. Unless they have a trick now. Okay, they don't at least want to use their tricks. So now let's see. This thing exiles, so if they have the white thing that gives indestructible. That doesn't help against the Consuming Ashes. I'm gonna draw 2 cards in here. I don't think the 1/1 has any function here right now. I can play the Peddler to actually trade with the Varmint. So let's go with that. Okay, I got my deputies when they are not that great. I can get the 5/5 summoner back. That is valuable. I can of course discard the Peddler, a deputy into the Peddler. Yeah, then I can have a Consuming Ashes. Let's do that. I'm gonna actually play the untapped land. I wanna play even if I draw a desert now, I want to play this untapped land to have a Consuming Ashes in here. Well, that's a good one. I'm gonna play that instead. Instead of, leaving mana up for the Ashes. This can now actually block the Griff here, so let's see if they have more removal. And if they do, I can use... I guess white can have exile-based removal, so I don't necessarily get to bring it back. But now it's a big thing they have to deal with somehow. Giant Beaver, so they have only 1 more card left in their hand. Okay. I don't know who I want to destroy with the Consuming Ashes, so I'm actually going to bring back maybe the Summoner here. It will be a 5/5. I'll play the land. If I draw one of the remaining Peddler or the other thing, I can always discard the Silver Deputy. Let's go with this. I could get even this thing back to draw 1 extra card, but I think the Summoner giving me, a 3/1 is more valuable. Potentially giving. I'm not playing this because I don't feel it's necessary, and I might draw a card that, you know, makes me want to discard a card for more cards. They do have the Bucolic Ranch, which is gonna give them advantage in the long game. So I need to start doing some attacks here, but of course my plan is to attack with the Summoner to get the trigger. Okay, so now Snakeskin Whale, if it wasn't in the format, I would like my chances a lot. Okay, so this is going to mean that... Okay, they are going to have a thing here. They would not make me this attack otherwise. So, and it has to be a Snakeskin Whale. And that means I am going to do this double block. I'm actually choosing to not to block with the Akul instead. I mean, this is gonna either mean that they're gonna trade with the Peddler, which is fine, I think definitely fine, or if they're gonna have to, if they want to kill the Unrepentant, they will lose the Snakeskin Whale and the Beaver. That's fine for me too. This is going to get me a 3-1. And I can use the Consuming Ashes. Okay, that is... They just wanted to give this thing a counter, perhaps. Alright, I don't need any more lands. Alright, so I could attack for 10. I can attack for 10. And I can play a blocker. I will have a 3-1 here too. I'm going to attack for 10 now. Because I will have 2 blockers here anyway. I won't be getting a desert. I don't think it's gonna matter. Townsfolk. They can, you know, attack for what? 2-point life linking. So now the question is, are they going to actually have a Snakeskin Whale? Because the Cactarantula can of course block my things. I can use the Silver Deputy obviously to you know, pump my guys. I'm not gonna... I'm playing around Snakeskin Whale right now. I feel like it is necessary to do that. I just draw these lands. That is not great. So I can just attack with the Summoner here as a 6 power creature. And I can use the Repentant to block the Grief. No big deal there. Note also that when the Repentant dies, they're gonna actually take 5 damage from the Rakdos joins up. Alright, so don't know what their plan is now. They could have a Trashed Town which can give a big trampler to them, but I also have the Consuming Ashes, so they would need to have a Trashed Town and a Snakeskin Whale to make it work. Now I didn't know in the end if they had the Snakeskin Whale or not. But do I want to do some sideboarding? The Thunder Salvo is, it's, you know, it can deal with the Varmint easily, but and this Drover Grizzly. And if I can do some multi-spell turn, also these bigger creatures. I guess the Townsfolk works too. I have here only 13 creatures. Yeah, I have some weak cards in here, like the Silver Deputies and the At Knife Points might not be that relevant here in this particular matchup. I think I can cut one of the deputies and play the Thunder Salvo. This can still deal with something at least. Don't think I'm gonna use these guys. Yeah, I will be on the draw, so I will have only one deputy. That's fine. I get a good hand here, keep it, and okay, this is indeed a very nice hand. I have my own 2-drop this time, and I have a 3-drop, and I have the Rakdos also waiting for. Oh man, that's one of the most horrible things you can actually see your opponent do on turn 2 on the play, because there are commons with 4 power, you know, that cost 3. So they can just get a free 3/3 flyer on this turn, but I'm happy they did not. I still don't have a removal spell, which I absolutely need for this thing. I'm happy I got a Thunder Salvo. So I'm now in very much of a huge trouble. If I actually was supposed to surveil there. Oh well. I was definitely supposed to surveil there. Because I need to find a removal. Land doesn't do it. They seem to have some instant speed effects there. Yeah, a free 3/1 is horrible. Okay, at least nothing yet. Of course, it's very tough to raise this guy. It has also lifelink and first strike. That said, they didn't play anything on the previous turn. Maybe this is a trash the town. You know, draw 2 cards. They can make it have, you know, 2 counters too. But then they can't draw 2 cards. Because that would cost 4 mana total to do both. So this seems to be the trash the town, and they won't go for the card draw. So that's like a divination. Now they have a land drop and a 2-drop. Do they? Like a Wolverine. Okay, well, next turn Rakdos will be played. I think I am going to have the pylons first. See what I have here on top. I don't need a mountain. Definitely not. So now that, because if I had like you know, a 2-drop, I could have played the peddler and, you know, also that 2-drop, but that's not the case now. So I'm going to just well, I don't know actually, because next turn I'm gonna play Rakdos regardless, so maybe the Wolverine isn't even gonna be needed here. I'm gonna play this creature. I don't have a 1 mana red spell, I don't think. So I'm gonna do this. Get the trigger from the Wild Smasher. And get rid of one of these things. See if I can find my removal. But I didn't find my removal. I did find another of my rares. Okay. So they haven't really done that much. But of course the fact this has lifelink means that they are still having a healthy life total here. Okay, this really seems like a snakeskin whale, but now the sad thing is they're gonna get the 3/3 flyer. That also means that this won't be able to block, which is, you know, not great for me. I mean, it's better than this being able to block my 3 power creatures, but okay, Thunder Salvo. It is. I mean, they are gonna have a snakeskin whale, right? It seems so likely. Now this thing is a mercenary, so I can get the ping out of the Wild Smasher. But I still don't want to show them the Rakdos right now. No. So I'm going to attack with these. I will, you know, take the trade with the 3/3, no big deal there. They might not even block. And now I'm gonna play the Rakdos, and I hope they don't immediately win. This thing can make itself indestructible if I sack another creature. And then of course this has the first triggered ability. When I sacrifice a creature, another creature exile cards equal to its mana value from the top of target player's library, so I can choose them or myself. And then I can play those until my next end step. And I can cast any mana to satisfy the color requirements. Now, I am at 13, so I don't think they're... Okay, well that's a good one. That gives those guys vigilances too. But the steed cannot attack now, because if they have the snakeskin whale, it's still gonna be only 4 power and I can block with the 6/5. And I can of course make the Rakdos indestructible, so this is actually gonna be... Oh, they're gonna go for that. Well, this is not so bad at all. You know, not at all. So they are going to... Can I win here? Because I can actually make them not gain any life from the lifelinker. It doesn't have trample. I can sack the peddler when I block the steed. I mean, this should be a lethal. Yeah, I think this is lethal. If lethal through a snakeskin whale. So I'm gonna block here and here. I'm gonna read this. Yes. Block like this. I kill their flyer this way. So they don't actually realize that this becomes indestructible. And they won't even, you know, get... I'm gonna see what they have. I can play those things. So they don't get the life and Rakdos survives, and now they are just losing because, you know, this attacks for 6 in the air and I can just, you know, use the Wild Smasher here to beat them like this. And of course I could have even played the Pixie, return the Vault Plunderer, and make them draw a card and lose a life point. So now the opponent probably didn't know what Rakdos does. It's not a vanilla 6/5 or a French vanilla, let's say, 6/5 flying trample. It has 2 pretty relevant abilities. So okay, they had a turn 2 steed on the play, but they didn't get to gain more than one of those free flyers, and of course I had a 2-drop, 3-drop, and so on curve here, allowing me to, you know, still beat them. Of course, having the Rakdos was relevant as well. But they did have the snakeskin whale, so they had the game plan: play this and not tap out. Always have a snakeskin whale at the ready. But I'm happy it didn't matter now. Okay, my hands have been fairly decent. The surveil will help me to find my 3rd one, and once I do get a 3rd one, even if it's a swamp, I can, you know, make red mana for the peddler and the salvo. So I'm gonna keep this, and I'm gonna immediately go for the surveil because if I can find a red source right away, I'd rather have the option to play one of these guys on turn 2. Okay, the opponent kept 7, and I have here good enough. I miss my turn 2, and I have to play the desert before having the at knife point here, but now I can just curve out fairly decently. Probably just gonna go for the vault. Well, actually, let's see. I want to play the add knife point before starting my removal spells. So let's do this, because I do want to get rid of the entertainer before they get that many extra counters out of it. If they have a 2-drop now, they can get 1. But next, now I'm gonna just get rid of this guy. And conveniently enough, I can play the peddler. I'm figuring out if I should just you know, discard the plunderer because I can get it back with the Rakdos joins up. I think that makes sense. I would have wanted to discard this thing too. Anyhow, let's get rid of this guy before they get to untap. I can still, you know, if the keykeeper is some kind of a problem, I can use the derailment to deal with it. Green white again. Alright, not gonna double block, although I mean, I guess I can double block. Yeah, okay, let's get rid of their tricks, whatever they might be. These are not really that important cards. Okay, that's actually better. Okay, so now I will be getting rid of that guy as well, most likely. Am I? Yeah, let's do it. Get the token from here and I will play the deputy, but I will not need... I have this as a double black. I guess if I specifically draw a Rakdos, I couldn't cast it. And yes, I can get a desert that gives me at least a crime, but it's not worth top decking basically a 1/1 for this thing. So I'm gonna decline this. Totally. Now these are outlaws, of course. They will have... Oh man, they will have first strike, but it doesn't now matter. Well, anyway, I'm gonna get my Vault Plunderer here, and let's draw a card. Okay, that's not a bad one. And this is a first striker on my turn, of course, so as long as they don't deal with the at knife point, maybe they deal with the card. Well, it's okay, I still have the Pulverizer, which won't have first strike on my turn because it's just a warrior. Okay, that's an annoying card to deal with. I guess it's not the worst thing ever because I can make this into 7 power, but this is gonna grow their creatures annoyingly. They go to 12 at least. Saddle each other creature, I guess. Well, let's see how many other creatures they're gonna find here. Mystical Tether is not a creature, so it's not the... Please don't have a creature. Okay, they had punch removal. Alright, alright. So I can use the peddler to get rid of the deputy. Okay, wow. Now the synergy happens. This is great. I think now I'm in a hugely good shape in here, because I will do the madness thing here. I'm gonna discard a Terminal Agony, and I'm gonna use the madness cost and get rid of this guy, get myself a extra token attack for 2, and the opponent is now top decking. I might as well play this, and I won't be getting a land here. These all can pump. I can have like a 6 power first striker here. They can have a flyer, but that's no big deal. As long as they didn't draw a very relevant thing. This has to attack in order for it to, you know, trigger, so there's no point showing it to them. If they drew an interactive spell, they will get rid of the peddler right now. It doesn't seem like they drew anything, so now they have to get like a rat, which there is. There's a mythic rat in the format. They did not have that, or at least didn't draw it if they did. Another green-white deck here, okay. This is 7 toughness, and even the trick shot doesn't deal with it because it is. Sorry, something is in my eye. 6 damage only. That said, I have a couple of consuming ashes. I have a terminal agony, each of which can deal with the thing. So, do I have a feeling that I want to have a trick shot? Not necessarily. I want to also have the Thunder Salvo for the cheap things. I guess the Return the Favor could do something. So change the target of target spell or ability with a single target. That actually does work with the Mystical Tether's ETB ability as well. It doesn't work with this because this has 2 targets. I can copy this. The first half of this card can copy things, even if they have multiple targets, but I cannot change the target for anything that has more than 1 target. So I could see cutting this, but I don't necessarily like to have another expensive thing here. It would be the trick shot over the overzealous muscle, I think. But I am on the draw. This is quite clumsy too. It's not like I'm going to use this on turn 3 or turn 4 like ever, or it's very unlikely at least. So I'm going to cut this from the deck now, and I will play the trick shot. This is a lot of 5 mana spells, but then again I have a couple of silver deputies, I have peddlers and this robbery to dig me into lands if I draw like multiple 5 drops. So I think it's not necessarily that big of a deal. Alright, I have definitely had good hands in this event. And let's go for the Surveil immediately. Although, if I draw a mountain, I could play the Wild Smasher on the next turn. Alright, let's change plans. I'm gonna most likely still have the Silver Deputy, but there's an option to maybe play the Wild Smasher, so... Okay. I'm not gonna use the Surveil now because I'm gonna use the Deputy. So I don't wanna Surveil something good on top and then shuffle it away. That sounds like a bad idea. Now this thing is, I think, going to get me a basic mountain. I want it to be untapped. So I can play the Summoner on the next turn. Okay, they are gonna get some value out of their Entertainer. I have no removal yet. I do have this, they need to have, which they can of course have the clear shot, but if they don't have that or some other removal, this is gonna attack for 4 and give me a 3/1 for free. But they are gonna have something. I do have the Rakdos, the muscle here, of course, which is going to be really good as well. So I guess if they get buried in the garden, well, that's one way if they could have, dealt with the Rakdos. But also I'm taking 6 here. That's a lot. That is a lot. Alright, consuming ashes. Well, let's first go for this. See what I'm drawing. That allows me to cast Rakdos on the next turn, so I think that's gonna be it. And I can do this and the Link Breaker. Or I can use the Consuming Ashes. I'm not sure if that's necessary. I'm gonna go with this into Link Breaker now. I'm not attacking, so that I can, like if they kill the Wild Smasher, I can still double block the Entertainer now. I think they will just first strike up the Arings, and I can just jump block the Arings, I think, with the Link Breaker. I get a Mercenary and another ping. Right, they can make the Beaver into 6/5. Now they can make this guy have first strike. Yeah, triple blocking won't help now. They can kill only 2 of these, but the remaining one won't have 2 power to finish it off. So I think... I'm gonna gain 4 life here and trade this into the token, and now let's see if they have another card like a Buried in the Garden, because any you know, clear shot or stuff like that won't help. I can make the Rakdos indestructible. And now I will just... I'm not gonna make any attacks. Although I guess I could attack with the Wild Smasher. It's very unlikely I'm gonna block with it. So I'm gonna attack for 3. And now I hope they don't have more... I mean, they could have the white enchantment that exiles my thing as well. Okay, well, they can destroy it. It will be tapped now. And how much damage am I willing to take here? I guess I'm not jump blocking with both of these. So let's only sack this guy. Let's see what they have. I'm gonna exile a card from there. No, it's mana value, not power. I thought it's... yeah, that was a mistake. Oh man, that was a mistake. I thought it's power of the creature, but it's actually the mana value. So now if I jump block, because I can't use this ability more than once each turn, I was supposed to do the other way around. Sack the deputy to get 2 cards. Alright, well that was just a straight up mistake. I guess I'm taking 11 now. It's a little risky, but I feel like it's what I'm gonna have to do now. I don't want to lose the kind of the value there. And now this Rakdos turns up. Okay, so I think I'm just going to get rid of the beaver here, or the first striker, or this allows me to surveil too. I'm not gonna let them untap. They could have, you know, they could have a snakeskin whale or something. Alright, let's exile this and surveil too. Trickshot, deputy is not needed. Trickshot is actually a very nice one. So now of course I might lose to some trample tricks if they have like trashed the town or something. Okay, that is something I actually have to deal with instead, using the trick shot. Not the beaver here. Well, let's hope they don't have a snakeskin whale, I guess. No token I wanna... Okay, no, none of that. Okay. I can bring back a... nothing too great. Okay, throw from the saddle in there. That happens. This is gonna be a 6/6, and I'm gonna have to jump block a thing. I'm gonna take this 2, I'm gonna go to 1. Both of these have mana value of 2, so okay. Land and a 3/4. I can play them both. I can have this now, and I will have them. I guess I should do this before, just in case I get something better. But I wouldn't have been able to play this anymore, so I guess I was always casting this on this turn anyway. If they get another removal spell, I will start to be in a bad shape. Okay, that's just a land. Yeah, I don't like to see that. It's 8 toughness, that's a lot. I might have to use the Rakdos turns up here. They're gonna go for saddle in there. Oh, that's a mistake. That has to be a mistake. I can now trade with the beaver here. I can sack. I'll just sack the 2-drop here. Yeah, Rakdos isn't very fair, but it was my first pick in the draft for a reason. I'll still get their stuff, I suppose. Oh, lassoed by the law, that is amazing. Oh, this is huge. That's a huge turn. Alright, I think the game is almost over now. Because I will just get rid of the entertainer too. This has saddle 2, so... Well, there's no hasters really there, are there? So... And this thing has vigilance anyway, so let's now just... I mean, how do they... Okay, they can get a desert that pings me. That's an actual way to just lose to a card that any deck in this format can easily have. Just a green-white desert ping me for 1, but that's not what they drew there. Alright, Rakdos for the win again. Again on the play, and again a fine hand. This helps me reach the Rakdos at some point. I wonder if I'm supposed to get a... Okay, well, not a basic swamp anymore. I'm not using the peddler yet because I'm still gonna just get a land for that thing. I think here I could take the survey land. I'm gonna take the survey land. I have a double red spell, a couple of them I think, but this helps me cast those 2, and I don't need the second black anymore because I drew the swamp. Trained rings. Well, let's first see what am I gonna maybe draw. Okay, cool. This is one of the double red spells actually. So if I got a red producing land, that this would be my play on the next turn. That said, I can still play this once I reach 5 mana, thanks to the conduit pylons, and I can still have a consuming ashes on the next turn. I'm not willing to discard anything yet, so I'm just gonna get rid of this guy because I have the other removal spell still here. I think I just need time to play both of my rares, and then the opponent needs to have some good removal spells to deal with them. This is... you can only kill Rakdos with exile effects. Well, they could have like a consuming ashes. As long as I have another creature to sack to make it indestructible. This of course is just a flying trample. The other text barely matters in limited. Alright, that is a very good one. I kinda like the surveil here. Just to make sure I find an untapped land for the next turn or something other very good stuff. I don't like to use my final removal spell on the Miriam, but this might be a card I'm gonna have to deal with anyway if they have just some mounts or vehicles. Okay, and I get the surveil, I get to attack for 1, all that. I'm gonna have the mountain on top, and that's gonna allow me to play a Rakdos and a cool on back-to-back turns, and if I draw any extra lands I can use the peddler in that case. Alright. So what's their color scheme in there? I'm actually playing the Akul first, because this Varmint can actually deal with their deputy because it's an artifact. So if they have like a destroy effect, then they can deal with the deputy and well, I mean, if I play the Rakdos, I could not save Rakdos if they use the Varmint to deal with the deputy, and then just any destroy effect kills this thing. So I'm gonna play the the not as good one first, and the Rakdos on the next turn. So they have like a green, white. The black is something I don't know about. But they have a basic swamp, so it's going to be something. I'm not blocking here, so let's do this and see what they are. Actually, I'm supposed to play Rakdos first. Because they might have like a fierce retribution. So I'm gonna play Rakdos here now. Because I do want to, get the benefit from the Rakdos. I can just, exile 4 of their cards and I can play them until my next turn. If they have a removal for Akul now. Okay, no removal for Akul. I didn't play the mountain because I might just discard it for the peddler. That's 11 power in the air. Actually, it's 12 with the silver deputy, so let's see. Yeah, I'm taking 2 here. I'm not gonna block here. Even though I can make Rakdos indestructible, I don't think it's gonna be worth it. They might have a trash the town for the 2 card draws, but I mean, it's a divination basically. I don't care if they... Okay, they do have it. But they choose to... Yeah, they get 2 counters and 2 cards, which means that... Did this enter? Yeah, they have no land drop remaining. I mean, they have to have something very good for 2 mana. And if they don't, they actually have to kill the silver deputy before my... Yeah. Which they could do with the varmint, of course. But because this can pump, one of these guys to make it 12 in the air. Alright, my rares are really doing some work here, but this is yet another opponent which trashed the town. I have to keep that in mind. All these modes target, so it's not easy to switch the target with the return the favor. I can copy it though. The card drawing won't matter on their turn, but I guess if they choose to put counters on their guy. But I could just do the same thing and play like a trick shot in here. I did not see... many things too. I didn't actually see a lot here. The thing is that I don't want to sideboard in a 5 mana card, but that's my only option. I don't think I'm gonna go for the splashes here either. So I'm actually gonna still maybe consider the return the favor. It can copy my spells, it can copy my abilities. It is pretty flexible, but it's still hard to find a good spot to use it. Okay, I'm just gonna try it. Wow, all hands I got here are great. Oh, I mean, great or at least keepable. And this is an actual very good hand. If I can now get the Terminal Agony to combine with the Robbery or the Peddler, that would be perfect. Okay, Bronco, any removal for that? No removal for that. I need to, of course, have a blocker for it. I don't want to block with the Wild Smasher, so I guess I am going to... I'm gonna go with this and I'm gonna discard the return the favor. That is not what I'm needing here. Okay. So they're gonna be able to just attack and draw a card. And if they have a means to, prevent my blocking it, then they are gonna get another card. Yeah, this can get out of hand if they play that thing on turn 2 without me having any blockers. That is nasty. Okay, how to do it? I could just play the Summoner. And this is, by the way, the black card. Are they just playing straight up 3 colors, have all the basic lands on turn 3, not getting punished at all? It seems to be the case. Now, I think I have to be mana efficient and play the Summoner here instead of the Wild Smasher. Yeah, I'm just gonna happy if I can block the Bronco. They still have already netted 2 free cards, but there's nothing I can do about it. I can only try to okay, well, they don't have an... I mean, they can, you know, make me lose life by crewing, but at least I can now get rid of this guy, and I lose 6. So they got a ley line binding there. Wow. I think I'm done here. Because I took so much damage. That's 6 life loss, just like that. That's pretty horrible. Alright, so I'm gonna need to find something good. Which means that I'm gonna play this guy and plot this thing, and I will see how's it gonna go. I need a terminal agony. That's what I need. If I can get a terminal agony before I cast the robbery, then I'm still okay. Alright, so they're just playing green-white, and then they happen to have the Bronco on turn 2. They have like what 6/6/6 mana base or something like that. Good for them. Come on, terminal agony, please. That is an uncommon black-red card, but not the agony. Yeah, them having the leyline binding there means that it's not gonna work here. It doesn't matter what happens. I know I have a free draw 2 new cards, but it's not gonna work against the situation in here and what they have in their hand. So let's just realize that I'm gonna play the trick shot and not play the return the favor. But this is again an event where I never got to cast this card. It is really a card I usually prefer to just have as a sideboard option. It is not that easy to get good value out of this. Okay, well, with the Conviction and the Link Breaker I can actually keep this. I have many ways to get the red mana. This is draw 2 new cards. That is one of the ways to get red mana. So now I hope they do have the Bronco. I'm gonna just plot this for now. Okay, no swamp, no Bronco. I'm going to get rid of this guy and just probably use the Conviction end of their turn. Because I don't know yet if I want to discard a land to it. I do have a 5 mana removal spell, so I want to hit my land drops. Okay, that is a better card than the Warmint, but I wanted to make the attack there. And Deputy. Okay, that Deputy I can discard easily. I think I'm gonna surveil after the fact. I have better information for the surveil after I have drawn 2 new cards. That said, I have 6 lands total here. I guess the 2 mana 1/2 is actually going to be better than my 6th land. I don't need 4 swamps here. That is actually true. So I'm going to discard a card, choose a swamp, and get fairly acceptable thing. They are stuck at 2, by the way. I'm gonna surveil now. Yeah, that was a very valuable surveil. I have my double red with the pylon anyway, so let's surveil more. Peddler can get rid of the Deputy, and I can just play the Pulverizer too, so I think I like it. I will use the Peddler to discard the Deputy, or an extra land or whatever, but next turn will be a Pulverizer. Yep. So are they gonna hit their third land drop or not? If they are gonna miss it again, it's gonna be bad for them. Because I have a 5-drop coming up. They still have a good card though. Let's go with this. I can actually get the... next turn I can get the double spell if I choose to play the Peddler and the Deputy. It might be so that I'm gonna... Okay, now they still missed a land drop. Okay. Wait a minute, if I draw a red card, I can use the pylons too. I'm going to discard the swamp here, that's for sure. A 2-mana red card. Yeah, there's no reason to tap the pylons for this thing. Okay, they're gonna have something. That costs at most 2, but that can be many things. Okay, that is a good card. So, just in case this guy is gonna die mid-combat, I'm gonna play this pre-combat. And let's cry here now. Oh, Rakdos the Muscle, which I can cast. It's double red, double black, not double red. So yeah, that's a good one. And then I can choose to not shuffle my deck. I was never gonna get another land, so I can decline that. And I don't think there's really, unless there's like a fierce retribution, this attack is gonna be... Yeah, okay, I think the opponent has lost the game because I have the Rakdos coming up and they are just not getting their third land. Are they still missing it? Seems to be the case. Okay. They got a lot of 2-mana plays, but it's not gonna help when I have these 5-drops coming up. So here what I'm doing, I can attack with the Pulverizer and with the Peddler. I can actually do even like this, yeah. I can attack with all these guys now. I don't mind if they double block the Pulverizer or anything like that. They would lose both of their creatures. Any kind of blocking scheme they're gonna have is gonna be fine for me now, and I don't think they have any chance to win this game because they missed the land drop so many times there. Okay, they had they had an answer for the... Although the Rakdos wasn't gonna be killed by Tornado, because of course this can make itself indestructible as long as I have other creatures. Well, that was a non-game in game 3 here of the final match, but at least it was non-game so that I wasn't the one suffering bad draws, because I have had my share of those. Trophies are very rare for me in this format, but now I got there, and my first pick in the event, Rakdos, definitely helped a lot in getting the trophy here. Deck was quite nice. I don't like playing double Silver Deputy, but at least I had 2 of these summoners that really made it, you know, a slightly more valuable thing to have around. And I didn't have that much crime committing to make the knife points really good. For example, the red 2-drop that just, you know, pings them by paying 1 mana is a very good card to combine with at knife point, but I didn't pick it. I think I saw that in the draft, but I didn't pick it. I had something else to pick there, and also I don't think that splashing the white would have been that amazing. It would have still made my mana worse, and I still like the cards here. I had a fairly large number of expensive cards here already, and both of these are still expensive, so I didn't really want to cut any cheap cards to put even more expensive cards, and I don't think cutting any of these expensive cards I had here just to replace them with these white cards, that wouldn't have made any sense either. So that was that. 3 match wins finally, and I will see you in the next video then. I think that's gonna be 1 week from having this thing published. I hope to see you then. Thank you for watching, and bye bye.